On today's takeaway today, I want to talk about stains. So first, not all stains are created equal. Sometimes you just want to leave the stain alone, and that primarily rests on what the stain is on, the material, right? So number one is identify what, number two is identify on what. So a stain, let's say in this particular case, an oil-based stain. So particularly oil-based stains. An oil-based stain in fabric, if you had a grease stain on your carpet and you were to go and get a degreaser for your carpet that's meant for carpet cleaning, you spray it, you agitate it, shampoo it, and then kind of rinse it off or towel it down or towel it away, you can normally get the stain off and kind of feather it into the perimeter, into the surrounding fibers, right? Well, now this is where I wanna put together something. You have a stain in fabric, right? Fabric is absorbent, and this absorbent fabric is surrounded by more fabric. And in cloth and material, if one piece gets wet, the surrounding pieces around it also get wet, correct? So the larger the spot, the larger the surrounding fibers on carpet get wet, right? Okay, so on carpet, if you have a stain, you apply the solution is being penetrated into the area where the stain is concentrated on, but by way of absorption, it spreads out. So when you're agitating and you're scrubbing it, and then you come and you towel it off, you're able to remove it, and you don't see that big of a difference in a spot that you cleaned on carpet. Now also, I know we've all been there, depending on what we use to clean the spot, so it depends on what you used, right? So if you've already been there, then you know what I'm getting at. Depending on what it is that you clean it with is going to determine how much of the actual spot, clean spot that you leave behind, right? Well, if you use the proper cleaner to remove that spot, you could see how you can feather it out as if the spot never existed, right? It's only because we use the wrong product that will actually leave a spot, or the spot itself remove the stain from the fabric fibers. Okay, so the reason why I wanted to paint that picture is because understanding that a stain on carpet is being addressed differently than a stain would be on natural stone. Now, why is that so? On natural stone, looking at this countertop, on natural stone, it's all completely uniformed. The pores are all super tight. And when you spill something or apply something, in this case, a cleaner, right? So when you apply something on the top surface, it gets absorbed only in the concentrated area, because unlike fabric, stone, the surrounding stone, doesn't absorb at the rate at which fabric does, making feathering almost impossible. And determining whether to remove a stain or not is now contingent on the color of the natural stone that you're working with. So if you look at this before picture, you look at the countertop, looks amazing. Some people are going to be able to identify that there's 3 spots right to the left of the sink. Those spots right there are visible to just a few. When I come into your home and I do an estimate, and if I was to see this countertop, I would recommend a clean and seal only. If you wanted to pop it, if you wanted to shine it, then I recommend a maintenance polish, a pop polish. What is a pop polish? So really quick touch on that, is something that you will apply topically to give it a little bit of extra sheen without actually having to grind it, hone it, or polish it naturally. And what that does is that gives you the extra pop that you wanted the countertop to have, the island to have, without the additional cost of actually grinding it, honing it, and restoring it. Now, why wouldn't you want to grind, hone, and restore it? Quite frankly, working on granite, easily easily 3 times harder than if it was on any other material. Now, one of the reasons why you purchased it is because of how hard it is, because of how durable it is, because of how you can use a knife and cut on it and not have to worry about it. Now imagine you being the person that actually has to grind a layer off, right? So you can see that the labor goes up threefold, and then at that point, so does cost. So now my job is to determine and to inform you of that dollar amount that comes into play and give you a suggestion, an alternative. My alternative on this countertop would be a simple clean and seal. What does a clean and seal do? When you do the cleaning part of it, we're applying alkaline solutions that clean off surface soil and, to an extent, pulls out a little bit of oil that's over the layer of the stone. Now, why is that important? That's important because you're doing it over the entire stone. Everything on the surface is being applied evenly, so it's the same product applied on the same surface, applied uniformly across the same surface, agitated the same way, with the same pressure. Everything comes out even. Now, it's probably not going to remove those 3 spots. Now, for those that have a concern and would want those 3 spots removed, I would have to say that the only way to get that removed is not even through grinding, but through applying a poultice. When you apply a poultice, you have to apply it uniformly all the way across the entire surface, and it could take 3, 4, 5, 6 visits. We don't know, and the truth is, if you gotta go past 3, chances are it's not gonna improve. So after 1 or 2 visits, you can already tell if you go anymore. The only time that you would want to go 5, 6, 7, or 8 visits is if you continue to see improvement. Now, that is a gamble, and that is a chance that we want you to know that now that you understand the concept of removing the stain through uniform absorption, how can you guarantee that in reverse you're going to remove an absorbent product uniformly across I've seen countertops or islands that are 50 square feet? You can't. And what ends up happening is that you end up
toward Illinois 43, Harlem Avenue.
What ends up happening is that you end up taking a chance that the final product will be irregular and not uniform. Personally, that's a chance I wouldn't want to take, just because I know the cost of replacement and I know the cost of refinishing. So that leads me back to my original suggestion, which would be a clean and seal and a maintenance polish if you wanted to pop it up a little bit. And sometimes a maintenance polish is appropriate, sometimes it's not. Again, it depends on the surface, the color, the place, the location, its use. There's a lot of factors. There's a lot of phenomenal products that are out there to give you something that you will be happy with. Unfortunately, sometimes it just doesn't happen to pan out exactly the way the customer would want it to be. And that's where I thank you for the honor of being able to guide you on your project, help manage your project, and give you honest feedback or course of action to provide you with a product that will keep your material safe and you won't regret it. In this after picture, you're going to see 3 spots. So the product was applied to these 3 areas, and after it was applied, this is the result.
Take exit 81A toward Illinois 43, Harlem Avenue.
This is a perfect example of why you would want to leave these stains alone, because the before wasn't that bad. However, the after is gorgeous. But if you can't have it uniform, it's gonna be odd. So at this point, the customer reached out to us and asked us what they could do, and we informed them that at this time the only course of action now is to continue to apply the solution, or in this case the Poultice, all the way across the entire countertop. Now, actually, now that I mentioned the word poultice, I gotta say this got to be the first time I use the word. So generally speaking, whenever you're doing a oil-based stain removal off of a natural stone material, you would want to go with Poultice. Again, not all poultices are created equal. You can create your own poultice at home. We do not have videos on that quite yet. But basically, you'll see that there are different dilutions out there that you could find. But again, understanding how much of the peroxide piece of the dilutions of the recipes that you'll find out there, that will determine how bleachy something can get or not get. So always good to know your service provider and to be using a product that is universally safe. Thanks so much for tuning in. Hopefully this video helps you. And if you have any questions, comments, or need an estimate, or know anybody that can benefit from it, please share. Trying to help. Have a good day. Peace.